JDs and Littleman, I was just down in Las Vegas, Nevada for the NAB conference, the National Association of Broadcasters. And this little guy right here just won the award for Product of the Year. And after playing with it and testing it out for a while, and the fact that it is $99, I can see why. So let's talk about it. I have to say, if there were two standout companies at the NAB conference, I would pick Blackmagic because they took about a football field worth of space for all of their products. It was very impressive. But the other company that caught my eye was Amaran. Even though their booths weren't that large, they had a very big presence there. People were talking about their new products and loving their new products. Amaran seemed to be all over the place. In fact, I got this light from them for free. This video was not sponsored. They don't even know I'm making it, but they did hand out a bunch of these to some people. I was lucky enough to grab one. Now, granted, my trip did cost me about $2,500, so this $100 light, still, free light, not going to complain. I do own the original Aperture MC, and I was thinking of upgrading to the MC Pro, but it seemed a little pricey for what I wanted, and enter this fellow right here. What a great deal for the features you get on this light. If you buy the basic kit, of course, you get the light and a little dome diffuser that just magnetically clicks onto the top. Underneath that, you will find a grid to help you prevent spill from your light, and then the light itself is under that grid. I love how fast you can just snap these accessories on and you are ready to go. It has a 1/4-20 mount on the top, but much more impressive is this little mount on the bottom, because this is for the ACE system. That's why this is called the ACE 25. They are producing other lights with this same locking mechanism, quick release system. It's similar to something you may have seen with the action cams. You have these two little prongs that fit in right there, and when you want to release it, you press the blue button, and this little mount can be put in a cold shoe or the hot shoe of your camera, and has a 1/4-20 at the bottom as well, so you can just mount that if you want. If you spend another $25 and get the upgraded kit, it comes in this nice little soft carrying case to house everything, as well as a little tripod, an extendable tripod with that same ACE mount. Put your light on the tripod, you just click it into its little system, and now you can move it backwards and forwards. I really like that. Quick and easy, take it off, swap it to the other ones, and if you get other lights in the series that have this ACE, just mix and match. Now, personally, I will go with the full kit all day long, because often I use these types of lights on desktops or down on the floor pointing up as a backlight, so I really do like this little tripod. On the side of the light, you will see a USB-C port for charging and also for powering. When it comes to powering, you don't lose any power if you have this plugged in, even if you're on boost mode, and I'll talk about that in a second. You can run this light indefinitely off mains power, so that's really great. You could use this as a permanent studio light. You have a menu button here and an on-off switch. Now, I like the on-off switch. Turn it on, it's on. A lot of the little lights, they'll have a couple of button presses or a button press, and you turn a wheel and then it comes on. Just an on-off switch. I like that. Slide it up or down. On the back is actually another way to mount this light, because there's a magnet right here. It's a soft rubberized texture, so you don't scratch the surface that you're mounting the light to, but you can mount the light anywhere you have some metal. You have a nice bright LCD screen on the back, so you can see your menu. You have your CCT, your HSI, your RGB. This one here is your FX, Bluetooth for an app, and it does have its own dedicated Amaran app. A custom button, because on the side here, you can actually program this button. If it's something that you use frequently, you can program that button to have a custom function. You just hold down that button. You have a fan mode where you can actually go to a silent mode. Turning on silent mode will limit you to 25% for the light, but you can be guaranteed that the fan won't kick on. You also have boost mode. Now, normally this is a 25-watt light that can do 1350 lux at 5600, but you can bump that up to 1630 lux at 32 watts if you press that boost mode button and blind yourself for the purpose of demonstration. So when you're doing 25 watts at the regular 100% power, you will get about an hour of runtime. It drops 10 minutes to about 50 minutes if you are doing it on boost mode. If you are using it on the 25% silent fan mode, you get almost 5 hours of runtime, and that's great for me because I will be using it on that mode most of the time. Or you can just plug it into a power bank or the wall and not worry about battery life at all. In terms of fan noise, when the fan is running at max power, you certainly can hear it at this distance, for instance. So I'll just be quiet and you see if the microphone can pick it up. The microphone is right here. But of course, you may not be running it at full power and certainly not this close to a microphone. If I were to have it just out of frame like this, now let's see if you can hear it. Now, even though that fan is running at max power, I can barely hear it, so I certainly think that fan noise is more than acceptable. The light also offers a fast charge, so you can charge up 90% of the light in about 45 minutes. The last 10%, it slows down, so to not overload the battery, so to keep the battery life a bit longer. But in 45 minutes, you can charge it to 90%, so that is really great. So the surface of the light does get quite warm to the touch when you have it running on very high power and that fan is kicking in, but you are still able to hold the chassis, no problems there, or the back. It's just this part of the light that becomes hot. So let's go into the app here and check it out. You can connect this to Sidus Link like the other Aperture or Amaran lights, but now Amaran has their own dedicated app. I have connected this one. I call it markcameracrisis. So you can just change all of the things that you want, your colors. You can go to CCT and make some quick adjustments right here. A green and magenta shift, which of course is great for longevity of your light. If it greens up over time, you just shift that over. RGB to control the 3 colors. And of course, we have several effects. They are the standard effects. We will not go into them because some of my audience is photosensitive and I am sensitive to the photosensitive people. Of course, you can control the intensity of your light. There are other options like colors right here. You want to have a sunshine. You want to have a bonfire. Natural, this is what they call those. Emotional over here. This one, a quiet. Look at this hue 240. Hey, my favorite hue is 238. That's what this blue is over here. So they think that quiet. I'm quiet. I'm not quiet, Amaran. And we have some other options here from light sources. A really well done app. Very easy, intuitive to use. I like this one a lot better than the Sidus Link app. Just from a user perspective, you can just open this up and it makes a whole lot of sense. Very, very easy to make all of your adjustments and to see what you are doing. You can also update your light, which I have done from the app, and it was a breeze. Now, if I were to talk about improvements that could be made, perhaps in firmware updates or the next iteration of this light, I would say that physically speaking, I'd like to see the magnets a little bit stronger on the diffusion panel right here and the little honeycomb grid, because you can knock it off fairly easily. I mean, it's not just going to come off, but you can bump it, which I've done, and knocked off my little grid and my diffusion panel. And I also find it a little odd when you turn it on silent mode. It's 25% power, but it says you can go to 100%. So you're going to 100% of 25% power. I'd rather just see 25%, so that I know I'm at 25% and I'm in silent mode. And then when I want to switch over to get more output, going over 25%, I turn that silent mode off. To me, that makes more sense intuitively, and maybe that can be added in a firmware update, or maybe people don't like that. Maybe that's just me. Other than that, this light is pretty perfect for me. It's exactly what I was looking for, and seeing how it's $99 for the base package, I will probably pick up a few of these things because they are so useful to have. Carry them around in your bag, put them all around the studio. I always have little lights going everywhere when I am shooting videos. It's a great job, Amaran, making something I definitely want, and I'm sure a lot of people do. They're selling like hotcakes, so get them while you can. I'll leave links down below. They'll be affiliates because I'm no fool. You know what I mean? Plus, I got to make up for that trip I took to Las Vegas. It was quite expensive. I bought a bag of chips that cost $13 USD. Never buy anything at the hotel. Anyway, thanks for watching this. We'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.